All right, let's jump into a deep dive on a book. I got to say, the title alone had me intrigued. It's called Beavers of Florida and Christmas.
Mhm.
Bilingual children's story, Polish and English. So that's already, kind of unique. But the plot is where it really gets interesting. Beaver couple living in Florida. The wife goes on a trip to Colorado, comes back all about Christmas, and now she's determined to bring the holiday cheer to the Sunshine State.
The setting itself is fascinating because we usually picture Christmas with snow, fireplaces, not exactly Florida.
Yeah, you don't quite think of those together.
Right, but that's what makes this book so clever. It plays with those expectations.
It really does. And you think, how do you even have a Christmas tree in a place known for like palm trees and alligators? But honestly, what really drew me in was the emotional intelligence woven into this. For a children's story, it really gets you thinking about communication, empathy, understanding, and relationships, all through these like adorable beavers.
Yeah, absolutely. And it doesn't hit you over the head with it. But as you follow their journey, you start to see these subtle lessons emerge. For example, we're introduced to the husband. He's a bit skeptical about all the Christmas traditions. He's happy with his life in Florida, doesn't quite get why they need all the fuss.
Yeah. And then you have his wife, fresh back from Colorado. She's seen the snow, the carols, the whole 9 yards. She's just like bursting with excitement to share all of this with her husband, which is understandable, right?
Wow, absolutely.
But, and this is where it gets interesting, he's not fully present when she's telling him about her trip.
Hmm.
And I feel like this is where the book subtly highlights that communication pitfall that a lot of us fall into. We kind of assume our partners just understand what we're feeling without actually having to say it out loud.
Yeah.
She's talking about snow-covered trees, carols, and he's picturing palm trees and hibiscus flowers.
Right, they're both talking about Christmas, but their experiences are completely different.
Yeah, totally different expectations. It's like sometimes, even when we think we're being clear, the message gets lost in translation. You can practically see the missed signals between them.
Exactly. And that sets the stage for the conflict in the story. The wife wants a Christmas tree. It represents that festive cheer she experienced in Colorado. And her husband's just bewildered, like, a Christmas tree in Florida. Where would we even find one?
Yeah, and it's not just about the tree itself, right? It represents everything she's longing for. The traditions, the feelings. It's like she's trying to bring a piece of her Colorado Christmas to their Florida home.
Yeah, precisely. That Christmas tree becomes a symbol of her emotional needs. And his resistance to the whole idea just highlights that communication gap even more.
Okay, so we've got a communication breakdown, a skeptical husband, and a wife yearning for a little Christmas magic in Florida. Where does the story go from here?
Well, despite his doubts, he decides to go on a quest to find that Christmas tree. And this is where the adventure begins.
Hold on. A Christmas tree quest in Florida? That's a challenge.
It is.
I'm already picturing him wading through swamps, dodging alligators.
It's not exactly a walk in the park, that's for sure. But it's not just the physical journey, it's the emotional one, too. This simple act of finding a tree symbolizes something much bigger. The effort we need to put in to connect with our loved ones, even if it takes us out of our comfort zones.
That's such a powerful insight. It makes you think about times you've gone out of your way to make someone else happy.
It's not always easy, is it?
Not always.
But seeing his determination, even though he doesn't get it, it really speaks to the power of love and empathy to bridge those differences.
I'm already invested in this beaver's journey. What kind of obstacles does he encounter along the way? How does he even explain Christmas to the Florida wildlife?
Well, that's where we'll pick up in the next part of our deep dive. You won't believe who he meets and the conversations he has. It's not every day you see a beaver explaining Christmas to a flock of parrots.
I can't wait. This is turning out to be much more thought-provoking than I expected. Stay tuned, everyone. We're just getting started. All right, so our beaver husband. He's on a mission now to find a Christmas tree in Florida. Not your typical holiday shopping trip. Where does he even begin to look?
Well, he doesn't exactly have a GPS or a map to Christmas tree farms in Florida, so he relies on his knowledge of the ecosystem and a little help from some friends. Remember, the book emphasizes that interconnectedness of nature. That plays a key role.
Right, the parrots. Those were mentioned earlier. Are those the friends?
Exactly. He
Yeah.
runs into this flock of, well, very talkative parrots, which adds a fun little bit of whimsy to the story. But they're not just there for laughs. These parrots, they've seen where the humans bring in Christmas trees in Florida, and they point him in the right direction.
So they're like his wise, feathered guides I love it.
Yeah.
But how do the parents even know about Christmas trees? It's not exactly something you'd expect them to be familiar with.
That's where the book subtly touches on the blending of the natural and human worlds. These parrots have observed human behavior. They've seen the trees coming in, and they've connected the dots.
That's interesting.
It's a reminder that even in this children's story, there's that underlying awareness of the impact humans have.
Yeah, it encourages us to think about those connections even amidst all the fantastical stuff.
And the connection between the beavers and the parrots, it goes even deeper. They actually have a symbiotic relationship. The parrots rely on the beavers to alert them to, rotting trees perfect for nesting. And in return, they share their knowledge.
That's a cool detail. Even in the animal world, there's this exchange of information.
Right, mutual benefit.
It makes the story feel even more grounded in the natural world.
Yeah.
Despite the talking animals and the whole Christmas tree quest thing.
And that connection, it extends beyond just the animal world. The Christmas trees, they're brought in by humans, remember? So our beaver friend, he has to navigate not just the natural environment, but the human world too. He even has to cross this busy road. The book describes it as a thoroughfare that carries iron horses.
Wow, iron horses. It's such a vivid description. You could picture these cars rushing by, so different from the peacefulness of the forest.
All right.
I'm guessing that adds another challenge to his journey.
Absolutely. It highlights that contrast between their world and ours, the potential dangers.
Yeah.
But it also shows his determination. He's not deterred. He's focused. He's pulling that Christmas tree with all his might.
All for his wife.
All for his wife.
And he's encountering all these other Florida animals along the way. He was probably like, what is this thing?
Exactly. Alligators, snakes, all these creatures who have never seen a Christmas tree, they stop him asking, what kind of tree is this? Why is it needed? It's like he becomes this ambassador of Christmas.
Spreading the Christmas spirit in the Florida wilderness.
Yeah, and the author uses these encounters to weave in different cultural perspectives too. It's not just the American Christmas, right? There's the Polish influence from his wife.
Right.
So while she brings back American traditions from Colorado, the story also highlights Polish customs like carols and the nativity scene. It's a blend of cultures.
Showing how traditions can be shared and adapted even in unexpected places.
Exactly. And remember, the book is bilingual. So by presenting it in Polish and English, readers experience both languages, both traditions.
It's like the book itself is a bridge between those worlds.
Yeah.
So our lever, he's making his way home, Christmas tree in tow, having, spread some cheer along the way. What awaits him when he gets back?
Well, his wife, she's been waiting. She's overjoyed to see him, even more thrilled when she sees that tree. Her reaction is priceless, full of love and gratitude. She's blown away by his efforts. She calls him the most famous beaver in the family.
That's so sweet. It really shows how strong their bond is.
It does.
That understanding, meeting each other's needs, even if it means a wild goose chase for a Christmas tree in Florida.
And their joy, it just multiplies when the beaver grandchildren arrive. They've never seen a Christmas tree before, so their reaction is pure wonder. It emphasizes the magic of experiencing new traditions and the importance of family.
It sounds like a picture-perfect holiday moment.
Ah.
But how do they decorate the tree in Florida? Do they use traditional ornaments?
That's where the story gets even more creative. They decorate with gingerbread cookies, shavings, even frosted mango, a Florida touch, and then they gather around singing carols. It's heartwarming, that family togetherness.
A reminder that Christmas can be celebrated anywhere.
Even in the most unexpected settings.
Exactly.
And what's really heartwarming is that the husband, who is so against it at first, he ends up being the one who brings it all together.
He really does.
The story shows how love, empathy, stepping outside your comfort zone, it can lead to growth and joy.
Sometimes the greatest gifts aren't under the tree. It's the effort we make to connect with those we love.
Exactly. And the book celebrates that diversity, that joy of sharing traditions, blending Polish and American customs, in Florida, no less. It challenges our ideas of what traditional even means.
It's a message that's so relevant today.
It really is.
Embracing differences, learning from each other, creating new traditions.
And by presenting it all in this fun way, the book makes those themes accessible to everyone.
It sparks conversations.
It does.
Reminds us about connection, empathy, joy.
Not just during the holidays.
Year-round.
Ugh.
So we followed our beaver friend on his Christmas tree quest in Florida, witnessed the whole heartwarming family celebration, explored how the book blends Polish and American traditions. As we wrap up this deep dive into Beavers of Florida and Christmas, What are some of the key takeaways? Things we can, maybe apply to our own lives?
Well, I think one of the most powerful messages is about active listening, especially in our close relationships. Remember how the husband almost missed the mark completely because he
Right.
wasn't really paying attention to what his wife was trying to tell him?
It's so easy to fall into that trap, right? We get busy, caught up in our own heads, and we assume our loved ones they get us, they know what we're thinking, without us having to, actually say it out loud.
Yeah, and as the story shows, those assumptions can really lead to misunderstandings.
Big time.
Active listening, it's not just about hearing the words, it's tuning into the emotions, the needs behind what someone's saying.
It's putting aside our own stuff and really trying to see things from their perspective.
Exactly.
Makes you wonder how many times we've missed those cues from our loved ones because we weren't truly present.
Happens more often than we'd like to admit, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
But the good news is it's a skill. You can work on it.
That's true.
Takes practice, patience, and a genuine desire to connect.
And I think Beavers of Florida in Christmas gives us such a great example of empathy. Remember the husband, he was skeptical about the whole Christmas in Florida thing. But in the end, he puts his doubts aside and goes on this incredible journey to make his wife happy.
His actions really speak volumes. It's not about agreeing with her, but understanding her, showing her he cares.
Right. And that act of empathy, it transforms their relationship.
It does.
It's a good reminder that the best gifts aren't always things, It's the effort we put into understanding and connecting with each other.
Absolutely. And the book also celebrates that cultural diversity, the joy of sharing traditions,
Yeah.
Polish and American customs, all mixed together in Florida. It really challenges our ideas of what traditional even means.
Yeah. It's such a relevant message,
It is.
especially today, right? It's about embracing those differences, learning from each other, creating new traditions.
And by presenting it all in this fun, whimsical way, Beavers of Florida and Christmas makes these themes accessible
To everyone, yeah.
for kids and adults.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into this charming and insightful book,
Uh,
is there a question we could leave our listeners with, something to ponder?
how about this? What's one small act of understanding you could offer someone you care about today? It might not involve a quest for a Christmas tree in Florida, but it could be the start of something really special.
That's beautiful. So to all you deep divers out there, thanks for joining us on this heartwarming adventure. We encourage you to check out Beavers of Florida and Christmas for yourselves. Maybe even share it with someone you love this holiday season. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep